Avery's homesick, so his hands felt a little bit better, but he came down with the latest sickness. So he came in, got checked out, and we sent him home. So he's out tonight.
Who's in his place?
Marcus.
Anyone else having
No.
illness?
That'd be an opportunity to get Terry back in there a little bit.
We'll see. Yeah.
Brad, was that a battle with Avery to get him to go home? He told me yesterday he wanted to play in every game this season.
I mean, I didn't even talk to him about it.
Okay.
It was him and Eddie talked. And, he was obviously really under the weather.
Coach, last year Evan was kind of your jack of all trades. Has Marcus really stepped into that role this year?
I mean, Marcus was here too, so I think that, Marcus is continued to progress in what he does best, but I mean, they're different players. But so I don't know that he would necessarily have stepped into Evan's role, and he's still, continue to improve as a player and be the best version of himself. But he's doing a good job, and he's doing a really good job. I thought he was really good last night, especially in that fourth quarter with that bigger lineup in there at the start of the fourth.
Coach, you mentioned the other day about the fact that you'd only had the one taped practice in December. Now that you're presumably going to have a few more of those coming up in January, do you use that to kind of reinforce some of the stuff? Do you add more stuff? How do you kind of look at some of those laying out?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the next couple of days, and I've already started doing it a little bit over the last week, but we've been running through games like it's going out of style. So I'll take the next few days and really look at it, what we need to get better at. But I think as much as anything, we're going to have to balance practice with rest. I think that's going to be important to rejuvenate and be ready to go. I'm really excited about the way that we've played in a lot of ways this month. But we'll get a good combo of rest and practice, and hopefully get better at what we do.
I was going to say that because I know in years past you worked them hard in November and December, and unfortunately the schedule didn't work out as well in December this year, and then really tried to lay off on practice once you hit.
I think it'll be interesting to see with the impact of the longer season, how much more difficult it is even to practice with, and when you have a few less back-to-backs. Sometimes the back-to-backs actually give you a chance because you take the next day off, and then maybe you have an extra day to practice. We're going to practice when we can. You try to get as much done in film and shoot-arounds as you can, individual work. Our guys come in on off days a lot. We'll determine kind of what we're going to do over the next few days after tonight's game, and I'm sure guys will come in even when they're not scheduled to, but I do also want them to catch up.
What does it say about Gerald Green that he was ready when called upon after not playing for a while?
Yeah, so I think the not playing thing can be hard, but it's lessened if you're a really engaged teammate. And he's a really engaged teammate, and the Miami people that are here will know this. Like he cheers for his teammates. He's always talking in the locker room. He's engaged at practice. He's engaged at the practice facility. It doesn't come across like it's about him. It comes across like it's about the team. And I just think it's easier to then be impactful when you get your number called, because you're already thinking about what's best for the group. And kudos to him for being ready, but I'm not surprised by the way he shot it or anything else, because he's just been really locked into that it's about us.
What have you made of Justice Winslow in his second year, and what kind of problems does he present?
Yeah, he's a really good player. I think I'm a big fan of what Coach Spoelstra does. I think that he has got a lot of interesting wrinkles right now with how they're trying to play. They play Justice at the 4 some. They play James Johnson at the 4 or 5. And they do a lot of times where those guys will have the ball and the point guards will set the pick and roll. And to the point where they're doing it a lot more than a lot of other teams. And a lot of teams will do it after a timeout or very, very irregularly, and these guys have made it a huge part of their system, and it's just unique. It's maybe it's the next step in small ball that he's on to, but I think at the end of the day, it puts you in a predicament when the bigs are handling the ball and the guards are setting the picks. Sometimes they have 2 picks up top, and it's a heck of a deal. It's a tough deal to guard. Justice is really good with the ball. He's a good passer. He's a good driver. He's a good player. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.